Welcome to our final presentation for Bohi. My name is Asante Hope Temoka, and I'll take you through what we have been doing for Bohi in terms of the marketing strategy and how we've been able to generate good revenue for the company. To begin off, we had CM goals that were the scope of this project that accompanied with the goals of spending about 5,000 each week. The second goal was to increase the sales and brand awareness as well as engagement on all social media platforms. As far as the personal goals that I had for this, were they were a lot, but I would like to just share a few. The first thing was to substantially enhance our social media visibility and followers by growing our current fan base to attract a larger audience. The second thing was to evaluate and reproduce the materials that elicits the strongest positive reaction from users. And the third thing that I did, or the goal that I had, was to identify the content that our audience responded to the most, which would have enabled us generate better performing content in the months that preceded. As for the marketing plan, we were able to do this by analyzing our competitor, which was Hasha. We we actually assessed our strengths as well as our weaknesses in our current marketing strategy. And we did that by conducting a SWOT analysis, which we were able to understand our strengths, which were some of the things that we did by showcasing what we had on platforms like Instagram as well as Pinterest. We also understood that we have a really understanding of our target audience, which we leveraged for a more tailored marketing effort. We also realized that we had opportunities, for example, like working with influencers that could help us tap into, avenues that were untapped and help us, have our brand visible and trust among key demographics. Of course, we had weaknesses, things like inconsistent posting, and underused platforms like Twitter and YouTube. And of course, the threat was harsher because they have been able to establish a strong media presence. One thing that I actually understood from my research, I came to understand that the company has been able to find a sweet spot for everything, especially how they are able to market their products. They do not just bombard advertisements to their audience, but they do this by enticing them in a way that they're able to garner more engagement, clicks, and which would equate to more revenue and stuff like that. So, for the questions that we had, something that's uh, a strategy that I used mostly for each week was to uh, analyze the post that did well and make adjustments based on what was not doing well. Um, what I found out that Bowie had the most engagement when we used promotional photos with website links between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. As you can see, the graph, you can also see that we were doing well in days like on Tuesday as well as Thursday, where we're able to have, a good average of shares, likes and comments. Uh, on these said days. As for the secret sauce that we did find, I could tell that when we post things like somebody holding a bag, a bohi bag, on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, it did actually garner more attention, especially when it comes to the impression, clicks, and it did actually generate more revenue. And as you see this post, it actually generated good revenue on both Instagram and Facebook. And on TikTok, the source that I did use was to find out which photos that worked the best. And we did find out that the bags, without anybody holding them or just the product did well. You can see from it, we had good impression and we had good amounts of clicks, and we were able to gain good revenue compared to other posts that we were doing. As for the channels that we used, we make sure that we utilize the major platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, formerly known as Twitter, sorry, X, and Pinterest. For the crisis management, of course, we were able to find ourselves into hot mess, but what we did was to issue public statements, and we had a good social media strategy, which consisted a calendar shifted that focused to crisis communication, posts that included behind the scenes videos of ethical factory partnership, live Q&A, and regular updates on the investigations that we found out during the crisis that we were found ourselves in. And this strategy maintained accountability and engagement with our audience. We were able also to do things like internal and external investigations on matters that were really pressing. So this is how we were able to manage crisis. For the growth, we had a total amount of 35 million on impressions, and we had 363,000 on the clicks. We had a total engagement of 1,600,051 and 958. We had sparked conversation of 10,000, and as of the revenue, we had about a whooping of 500 and 100 500,181. As for the total that we incurred throughout, we incurred about 500 and I'm sorry, 58,584. So you can see that we were able to maintain a huge balance on how we were able to spend money, but also the revenue that came out from it. And as for the budget that we feel like could have worked the most for the last question, how much money did you earn over the budget that could have made this work? I think for me, a 10,000 budget would have been something that would have worked more because we could have devoted 5,000 to working with influencers and 5,000, for advertisement. But yeah, we had a good run over the past 13 weeks, and we were able to do great things for the brand, as well as generate good revenue for it. Uh, thank you for listening, and yeah.